I think I'm gonna, let's see, now we have a quorum. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and call the order the meeting at 7:04. Thank you all and welcome. I think that what I'll do is we don't have anyone from the public here, so it's just the committee members. So I don't think we need introductions. We know who we are. So let's just go right into the public comment for non-agenda items. And thank you, Duncan, for sending the comment that Jesse sent in. And I think she also emailed Kate and I separately. So I would like to enter in and read that to everyone just to put it into the notes. And I do think it's something we can talk about later on, maybe in the agenda, but she just wanted to, she wrote, though I will not be able to attend tonight's meeting due to competing needs and schedule, I wanted to reach out to the full committee with contact information for people whose work with communities to honor many voices in the visioning play space, knowledge of and implementation of playground structures, and willingness to work with us all in Richmond would be valuable. So she mentions Holly Reed, certified park and recreational professional for South Burlington, gave her email and phone number. She is willing to talk with and present to the committee, groups and others, and has extensive experience with natural play structures and all of the community input process of city park, Center Park. Is that in South Burlington? That must be in South Burlington. She explained that Compan, it was the company that created their structures, and the cost was $100,000. Wow, that's a lot cheaper, huh? Other folks who I've indicated in previous emails include Don Schneider, former principal of Brookside School in Thatcher Brook and Waterbury, Alex Mahovic of Bristol Parks and Recreations. There are 5 people who were instrumental in their process. Their emails were included in the prior missive. I do remember that. These are some people to whom our community can look to provide insights about process and products. Sincerely, Jesse. So great. We are going to talk about our work plan later, but I just wanted to get that out there, as something that, we can definitely think about. Whether or not these are great resources and whether or not there's some process that we can move forward on, even though we don't have the money yet. So there, I said it. And now, was there any other, there weren't any other comments from the emails or comment box. So was there anything else that's not on the agenda that we should make sure to mention at this point? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to the next part. So we have our business from now until the end. So the administrative stuff. So the first one is the minutes from May 2nd of 2023. So I believe I provided the link, hopefully the right link. So can I have a motion to review and approve the minutes? Or discuss and approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and a second?
I can second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion or questions or clarifications needed with the minutes? Okay, not hearing any. So I learned something new at the So we're going to make a vote. But I learned at the select board meeting, what they do is they actually go around and each person says what their vote is. And so I think they do that because of the hybrid situation. So everyone gets a chance to voice. So we can certainly do that just to count it correctly. I know we sometimes raise hands on the count, but I thought that was interesting. Duncan, do you remember how he said it? It was Jay that said it. He said it last night, and I can't remember how he posed it. And they went around the room, and you heard everyone say their name. And
they usually have they usually kind of just do it for the water, sewer, and the commissioners and the select board. They just usually say J.I. So you would should say, and there's no set order, but they kind of find their own little way in. And
Okay, I thought it was.
I won't say you got to do it alphabetical or anything, but they all kind of find their own little moment to at least say name. I think for us, it's fine either way, but yes,
Okay.
for
It was
today's
very-
modern world and the transcripts, it's great.
Yeah, okay, so I'm fine with just raising the hands, but it's something new I learned. So all in favor of approving the minutes, say, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, I think we got it. Okay. All right, park use events. So Duncan, I know you just emailed us something, and so
Yep.
what's up that's new that we might need to discuss?
Yeah, there's not too much. Once again, we have a couple of little, picnics going on, mostly at the bandstand green. But a few times the last week, and we do have Cub Scouts who are camping overnight. Josh
Ah.
approved that. That has been approved in the past. Once again, it's we're not allowing campfires and barbecues because that's part of the ordinance of the park. There's no open fires. So that's been a little new on some of the groups asking about that. But we basically said, yeah, we can keep the bathrooms open for a group of Cub Scouts to do a little small overnight. And we have the softball group doing a picnic end of the year, but they were asking for like, hey, do you still have grills? And people will ask about the grills a lot because they were there probably 7-10 years ago, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it is one of those things. I still feel I wouldn't feel comfortable breaking that ordinance for special occasions at the most. We shouldn't have fires or barbecue pits, I don't think, in the park. So just wanted to put that, get feedback from all of you on that as well.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I vaguely remember when they used to have that, I think. Any thoughts or additions? It's nice to have the ordinances because then you can just refer to them when people are. Do people get a
Right.
copy of that, or how's that work? I forgot.
Yeah. Well, so in this case, she reached out and she remembered from years ago where they were able to camp overnight and who knows what was going on and what those days. But I was just like, yeah, so here's what it is. We want you to give us insurance. We want to make sure everyone's aware of it. And yeah, we're not really comfortable with, fires or barbecue pits or stuff in the park. So I think that was kind of the general message. An overnight needs to be okayed by Josh or the select board. Josh felt it was okay for him not to bring it to the select board because we have plenty of other stuff to do. Because we know the troop and they're going to do it fairly respectfully and we have contact information. But yeah, just same thing. A lot of groups just ask and we just say, hey, go get pizza. Go get takeout. Don't grill. Go. We got plenty of wonderful, and that's what the MMU students do on their service day. They all go to the corner market and get their deli sandwiches, and you're like, oh, beautiful. As a former recreation director, I hate cooking hamburgers and hot dogs all afternoon during events. So I think it's a good excuse to tell people no. But that's just my 2 cents. So I think we just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So if we do get pushback, we've at least talked about it here and are aware of the situation. It is in the ordinance. We don't want to break that ordinance, in my opinion.
Right. Yep. How many Boy Scouts would it be?
I think they were 20 or 30.
20 or 30,
So,
yeah.
so,
Okay.
yeah. So, and once again, I think they have someone who's close by, and we just have to basically say, yeah, you can kind of be camping overnight and we'll keep the bathrooms open for you if you need them. So it's
yeah.
we wouldn't do that all the time. And I think we would just want to know, we wouldn't want to just allow groups to do that a lot.
Is there a designated spot, Duncan, where they?
I think they're doing it kind of back by the baseball field, soccer fields. But no, there isn't. So that's I think we kind of left that. I mean, once again, it's gonna be an afternoon, evening. I think once again, there's baseball going on. They know what's going on there. But,
it's interesting. I just thought of that when we talked about the tenting at Mills River Park over in Jericho. They actually have 10 platforms. Yeah. But that's, again, I don't think it's in a floodplain. The river's there, but I don't think it's in the floodplain or anything because it kind of goes up a hill and there's some tents and stuff. and they have that gazebo, but it's interesting. I think it gets used a lot. They have several tent sites, so,
Oh, I bet. Yeah, no, that's a gorgeous spot too.
it is
Yeah,
a
that's
gorgeous
wonderful.
spot, yeah, so, but that's great. You might as well promote the use of the restaurants in town. They
Well,
don't
no,
have
and I
to-
think it is. Yeah, it's just respectful use of the, once again, I'm sure the neighbors don't want a lot of camping groups out there either.
Right.
So, every once in a while, I think we can kind of, Cub Scouts, yeah, okay, we can do that, unless there's a problem. But, we don't want to make it like approving it all the time. If it was
Yeah.
happening 6 times a year, if I were living on Esplanade, I'd be like, oh.
Might be a little loud, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
But just wanted to once again keep you all informed, and Josh kind of made that, and I made that decision in the last week, and just wanted to push it forward.
Okay. Okay, so any other comments from the committee? And welcome, Jack. I didn't see you before when we when we were going around. Maybe you jumped on later. If we don't have any more comments, we'll move on to a budget discussion and vote. So with our big budget of $500, which I think we still have, and we're coming to the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, we had several ideas. And I know that Kate, why don't you maybe start, because you connected with the library about talking about the snowshoes and equipment, and they came up with a great idea. So I'll let you pitch that.
Yeah, sure. So Wendy and Rebecca from the library got back to me. They said the snowshoes are in good condition, and they did go out a decent amount. I forget how much. I think it was about half as much this year versus the previous year, but we also didn't get very much snow this year. So
Yeah.
they said those are good. Some suggestions that they had were hiking poles for, non-winter use. And maybe a couple lawn games that they could keep there and let people check out to use, like on the lawn next to the library.
Yeah.
Wendy suggested bocce ball or cornhole. That's
Yeah.
a couple ideas.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I think the other thing I would just add, Kate, is we did not send out any kind of promotion for the snowshoes this year either, as I recall. And we had a bigger push that first year, I think.
Sure, it might not hurt to remind people that it's there for next winter.
Yeah. And I think I kept thinking we should let people know right before school break, but maybe again, we just, blurb it out December, January, February, and hopefully people get the snow.
Right.
Yeah, and then I think, Duncan, you talked to someone about attaching a storage thing to the band shell for the current lawn games. Who'd you talk
Yes.
to? I forgot.
Yeah, so Keith and Tyler, I think it was Tyler confirmed that if as we can do I think the design you talked about, where we have something attached on the back of the band shell, because that is above the floodway. So we would just, and Pete thinks he could do something around that. He could help us kind of design something.
Yeah.
Once again, I think it's great we can put something there, because I think that's what we really want, is we want something off the backside there, almost on the either the way back or just on the riverside where the electrical box is there, where we can kind of keep an eye on it and put some sort of either a lock or a code that we can get into. But no, I think it's we're good to put something there. Anything lower than that, we're kind of sunk. Literally.
Okay, yeah. And I think that was the idea, was instead of a plastic container, that why not just have, something that can, again, wouldn't float away, and we don't have to worry about tying it down, and we could use like a wood kind of thing. So that's great. I think the other idea was whether or not to do any, so we had container for lawn games, replacement of snowshoes, but we're saying we're okay with that, but hiking poles might be good, and maybe a bocce game and a cornhole game for the library to use. We talked about replacing the lawn games. I feel like they haven't been used, so they're not that, they're kind of flimsy and stuff, made for younger kids, but they're still in good shape. The only other thing was signage, and I can't remember what the signage was. Was it it might have been something near the playground. Does anyone remember what the signage idea was?
For the games?
No, I think it was a little bit more clarity and direction of the use of the area or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't know, Duncan, I thought you may have said
Yeah.
something.
Well, there's all sorts of stuff that VLCT would like us to have for signage. There's that,
Okay.
but I thought we were talking specific to the like lawn games in back of the
Well,
volunteers green.
yeah, we definitely
And the
do.
band shell. I think there's plenty of signs we should get up there. Yeah, for sure. That's a whole piece of stuff we can start to look at of what we want to get and what we want to put up there for some of VLCT's recommendations. But as far as I thought you were talking about, Sherry, like we don't really advertise these games, and if we just put them out there, no one's going to grab them.
Right.
So we need to have some sort of marketing, or
Yeah.
likewise, if it is an honor system, I'm fine with that. And that's the great part about
Yeah.
the less expensive games is
Yes.
if something goes away, we track that and okay,
Right.
good, it didn't work or it does work. But
Right.
it's I think it's something that we need to just market a little differently.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
think I think that was in response to the like welcome to the playground. This one's for these age kids. This is,
oh,
and not that the band shell games couldn't also be a
I
part
got
of that, but I think I don't remember if I said it or somebody else said it, but anyway,
Yeah.
it kind of came out of that conversation about knowing how to use the playground or providing
Yes.
information about how to use the playground.
Right.
That's what I recall also, like
Yeah.
age appropriate, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
boy,
One
these are
thought I
all,
had is that could be used, they could use like the budget for volunteers green for those type of things though, because that's something that was identified in our inspection as needing to be added.
right. Yeah. Yeah, so these are all seem like very reasonable things. As far as cost goes, any indication of for the building materials and stuff, for the attachment of putting some of the lawn games in there. Duncan, did you talk pricing at all for that? With I can't remember who, Pete, or who's the guy you talked to? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name. You're on mute, Duncan. Maybe his thing went out.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. It seems
Okay.
like for a decent wood, something that's gonna be there for a little bit, it
Yeah.
seems like we'll probably spend a fair chunk of the $500.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I thought that was kind of pricey and it's gotta be able to, unlatch or, open up easily. Yeah,
Yeah,
so, and it's cutting and stuff. It's a, someone's gonna have to make it, like.
it's a job, right?
It's a job, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, Kate, I did not look up snowshoe prices. I know that was what I was supposed to do, but did you have any, and I think the lawn games, I think I had asked Duncan. Duncan, can you still hear us okay? I think something went.
Oh, we don't need snowshoes, so you're all set.
No,
there.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Do you happen to, I think I had asked whether or not you knew how much we paid for the games, but that was through grant money.
Yeah, that's I would have to look that up. I don't remember that.
Okay.
But no, I don't think, I think most of the lawn games, having, seen them, they're not super expensive. I think,
$100.
like Kathy says,
Yeah,
less. Yeah, well, each one, it's going to be 50, 20, 25,
Yeah.
but it's more that shed is going to take a little bit to build and
Yep.
construct if we did something like that versus a box. But
Yeah.
even a box is, that's another expense. And same thing with like the wood chips and the disposal
Yeah.
or the, spreading of them and the signage. I think we need to kind of just do a better kind of just accounting of what do we want to do for these different things. And,
yeah, we can look at the.
in the new fiscal year.
Right, I think you're right. We can look at that because we can also make recommendations using the maintenance and repair budget line for that, but for just. the
Right, we can
500
always go to the select board and ask
Yeah.
for stuff. We can always, do not to go into the, all the ARPA money and stuff too, which is a whole other, thread. But we have the ability to at least request certain funds from the select board are like, hey, we need, this sort of stuff to fall in with VLCT stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Kate, I'm thinking trekking
Mhm.
poles are probably $75 a pair. Is that?
They were about
I-
40 when we bought them in 2021.
I was gonna
Because
say,
we were
I
buying
looked up
discount.
some on Amazon that are Cascade Mountain that are about $40 a pair.
Okay, all right.
I looked up a bocce ball set that's $40. Looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah,
For the cornhole, if you want one that's like actually a pretty solid design, like one that I found was like 80. I mean, they have cheaper ones, but they're,
Yeah.
pretty flimsy. I was thinking if we're getting it for the library and they're going to be like storing it in the library and stuff, like it'd probably be better to get a little bit better quality one.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, what do people think? I mean, again, we've got $500 and we do have the option. We might want to think about, we have the option of looking for the next fiscal year, we'll have another $500. So it's possible to purchase something now and say, hey, maybe we should earmark another $100 for XYZ for the library once July rolls around. So I think it's important just to make sure we make our selection for the current purchase, because that means that it has to be turned around and purchased by June 30th. So like if it's wood for the structure, we got to do that. Or if it's, buying some trekking poles, the purchase order needs to go in or whatever, however they do that at the town.
Is it gonna be possible to find somebody to do the wooden box before July 1? Or get an estimate that seems like,
Yeah, that's the hard part, is we don't really know how much that's gonna cost. And
I think this is like quick. What do we want to spend the 500? Yeah, the other stuff's going to take a while, I think, into July before it all gets invoiced and everything
So
else.
as of July 1st, though, we basically have the $500 again to use.
Right.
Yeah. Yep,
So if we don't get like the box figured out, then we could use our next budget on it essentially.
does the budget roll over or?
no, you lose
No,
it,
we just lose it.
you lose it, yeah.
Yeah,
So I would propose this, so I'm gonna roll out a motion here, and we can have a discussion. Can I do a motion, Duncan, or am I not allowed to make a motion?
Yeah, I think you can make a motion.
Okay, so I would say the motion would be is to fulfill the request from the library for trekking poles, bocce ball, and the cornhole with the $500 to spend it all there. And then in the meantime, we can, end up trying to, hang on a second, Becky. Yep. We can, we can find out what it's going to cost to make the wooden structure, and then put that on, talk about that and vote on that later. So that's my first take is that, but we don't have to have a second. But before I go anywhere else, Becky did ask a question. Becky, go ahead.
Yes, I don't know what's the appropriate time, but
Yeah.
I know you're talking about the park and improving stuff. And I
Yeah,
was wondering, we got some federal funds a while back. I was wondering if we could have some bleachers down at the ball fields.
yeah. So just so to be clear, Becky, the Recreation Committee only has a budget of $500 per year. We have no authority over any federal, state, or local budget that the town of Richmond is using. So you might be talking about the ARPA money.
Right.
And that's still under discussion, Becky. So that there was a special committee there. They reached out and surveyed the residents, and they're still working with the select board to pare down what the priorities or recommendations would be. And I honestly can't remember if bleachers were listed. I can't remember.
I do not think bleachers
don't-
would pass the floodplain at all.
I was gonna say it wasn't mentioned, but I don't think they would be allowed. It's a structure and it's a floodway.
But we, Becky, are not, have any kind of authority over those funds is what I'm trying to say. So we're just dealing with this little pot of $500 and what we can do with that.
So-
But I would encourage you, Becky, Jay Furr is, on the ARPA, they call it the ARPA committee and the select board. And you can always, send an email
Yep.
that was something you're thinking about, but to be honest, there is a big issue about the Volunteers Green because it's a floodway and so we can't put structures on there. That's what we've been told. We can,
Well,
yeah.
It's not really a structure. I mean, it's no more than the playground.
Yeah. But I think it's something you just have to, unfortunately, we're not the right people to talk about that for. Totally get it. You know, you got baseball, soccer, you got, I don't know what else they play there, but they probably have other sports. And it would be nice for parents and family members to be able to sit down instead of using those foldable chairs. Which
Yeah,
is-
I know Jay quite well, so I'll get in touch with him.
Okay, great, Becky. Okay. So, thank you. Back to the motion. I make a motion to fulfill the, request from the library and use the $500 for this year to purchase those.
I second the motion.
Okay, let's have any discussion or further clarification about what we're voting on.
I was gonna say, I can send like the stuff that I looked up, I guess, would it be to you, Duncan, assuming we approve this? Like I would send you the items that I looked up, the suggestion. Yes,
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
How many polls were we thinking? That,
Yeah, so if we get,
question.
yeah, so yeah, $500 and they're $40 a piece. So you can at least get, well, you could get 10 pairs. That eats up $400. I just don't know about tax. And then you still have money for one bocce set and one cornhole, right?
Do
Yeah,
they
I'd have
think
to
that
reach out-
10 would
I'd
10
have to
pairs
yeah.
of? Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I would have to reach out to the library and see what they think is reasonable. I mean, because they
Okay.
have to store it, how many pairs they would want.
Okay.
I mean, if we have money left over, another thought I had was maybe like ladder ball. I don't know if they'd be interested in that, but that's also a
Oh, yeah,
popular game.
ladder ball. That's a
Yep,
good game.
yep.
They also
that
have some pairs of poles already. Like those poles for snowshoeing are universal. They just have removable baskets. So I forget how many pairs we got. It might be
Yeah, how many
4 or
pairs did we
something.
get? Yeah. Did we get 10?
I think
mean,
they
I
said
don't
they
know.
had,
No, okay.
I forget. I think they have less poles than snowshoes, like one less pair of poles than them.
Yeah, I think it's a lot less than that. I want to say it's like 4. I could look at it, but it's not
They
very
made
many.
it sound like they wanted separate poles for hiking. I mean, the hiking,
Yeah.
I don't know what the tips are on the snowshoes are like, but the hiking ones come with different options for tips.
Yeah.
They're hiking, they're Black Diamond hiking poles, and we just bought baskets for the snowshoeing. So
Okay.
in my opinion, it would be kind of a waste to not use those poles because that's what
Okay.
we bought them so they could be versatile.
Okay, good to know.
But adding to that collection, certainly, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So how many pairs of snowshoes are there?
Good question.
I can spend a minute and figure it out.
I could look back in my email.
20,
but it
I
might take
bet.
me a couple minutes.
Maybe 20.
Perhaps we're getting enough snowshoes or poles to match the number of snowshoe pairs, pairs of snowshoes we have, and then that meets the need for both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other question, like how often are they going to be used even, so I think having them be
Well, I
versatile
do.
for winter and summer is a good idea.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I like that idea. Like what Kate was saying is like they're proposing that people would take them out to go hike down on the different trails and stuff, or maybe they're going up Camel's Hump and they would just need a pair of
Yeah.
poles so they got bad knees or something.
I found the email. It says they have 5 pairs of adult snowshoes, 4 pairs of youth, and 4 sets of poles. So they
Oh,
have essentially 9 pairs of snowshoes, but only 4 sets of poles.
I think
Oh,
they
and
might
are
be keeping some still because I think we got more than that. I just found an invoice where I ordered at least 7 pairs of adults. So they might be holding some
Okay.
of the new ones. I don't, they might not have put them all out because I don't know if they had space.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't mention that. You would think if they want more poles that space wouldn't be an issue, but I don't
Sorry,
know.
I don't know
guess-
about snowshoes, but if, I don't know if they put all the
Yeah.
poles out. I think the
Yeah.
snowshoes, they did not put all the pairs out. So they might be referencing to some of them, but the poles, I think we
Okay.
only got like four.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, they might not put all the snowshoes out. It says
So
they
we
went
had-
out 25 times last winter, about 50 times the winter before.
And then for summer use, you know, how many, I guess I'm curious, like, are there groups that are going out, you know, would the senior center be using the poles, be able to, you know, if they're going on a hike or
Yeah.
something to make those available? It seems like 10 pairs plenty,
Yeah.
in my opinion, but I don't know how often big groups are going out and needing poles.
Well,
Mhm.
we don't have to say in the motion how many. I think the motion was described as to fulfill the request that the library had, I think is how I stated it.
Mhm.
For hiking poles and bocce and cornhole. So we can just leave it at that and.
Or can we say for hiking poles and games? And then we can see how
you go.
much everything is, you know, and
Yeah.
then decide how many
Okay,
Not
poles,
too-
you know, what
right.
do we want to prioritize bocce over a pair of poles, you know, like, you
Mhm.
know, what's the, so.
okay,
Yeah, I like that wording, Kathy. Just say like
okay, so I can't,
purchase
you
games
say-
and hiking poles for the library and like not to exceed $500.
can
Yeah.
you,
Budget.
okay, say that again, Kate, because I think we're
I
changing.
guess we could, yeah.
I forgot
trying
how
to
we
think
do
of-
this, Duncan. If we change what the original motion is, how do we do that? God, I used to
Just
know.
Yeah,
make
you
the
can
motion
amend it.
again, Jerry.
Yeah. We can, probably easiest is you can, remove the previous motion. And I think Kate nailed it with like,
Okay,
let's approve $500 for recreational equipment. It's not like it's 500,000. So I think we're all
Right.
good with that.
okay,
Perfect.
so Kate, can you, okay,
Yeah.
so we're amending the motion.
So I guess I'd say a motion to spend up to our $500 budget maximum on recreational equipment for the Richmond Free Library.
Oh, that's you're really good at this, Kate. Okay, so now we amended it, so we have to have first and second motion before we vote.
The seconder needs to approve the amendment. So whoever
Okay.
seconded the original.
Okay, who wants to second what Kate said?
I second the amendment to the motion.
Okay, all right, so any more discussion on that? I think it's a good.
Hey, just for reference, it was 7 pairs of adult snowshoes, 4 pairs of youth, and then 4 pairs of trekking poles.
Okay,
Nice.
awesome.
So
Thank
for
you.
purchasing purposes.
Yep, perfect, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, so all in favor of our spending down the $500 for what Kate said? Say aye, aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes, thank you. All right, great. Okay, last bit of business on the administration side is, I think you all got the email with the code of ethics, so I just like to remind people. And there was one other attachment, code of ethics and something else, so, I don't know that it's changed, but it's always good to review it. So the outreach, okay, so we got, stuff about the website. Did you want me to share my screen as planned, or do you want to talk first and ask the questions? What do you think, Kirsten? What would make sense?
Probably bring the screen up because I feel like we're gonna have questions about
Okay.
it pretty quickly.
Okay. All right, so hang on a second. Okay, wait a second. Sometimes I'm like a little slow here, but I can do it. I've done share screen many times before. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the great work that's been done. Oh, I got an email from Mark. He got caught up in work, so that's why he sends his apologies. Okay, so here's my link. Here we go. I'd like to pull it up before I hit the share screen. So hang on a second. There we go. Okay, so share my screen. Sometimes my computer likes to go slow. Here we go. There, all right, here we go. All right, let me just get my little picture out of the way. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, hang on. My dog is being a pain. There we go. Okay. Go ahead. I just have to let my dog out.
Okay, so my first question for feedback, I'm hoping everyone has had a chance to just browse the site. It's getting close to hopefully the semi-final stages, although it's always available for edits. But is there anything additional that we would like to list on the site that's stood out to people?
Yeah, should I go back to the
under community
yeah,
and then recreation?
okay, because this is the history thing. Okay, here we go. Yep. So and I will just tell people that what I ended up doing last night is I just kind of talked to the select board about our first attempt, and we've been working on it for 3 months or so, and we're going to wrap up some discussions today. And what they had said is we were missing the Mount Mansfield Soccer United Soccer Club.
Yeah, and I just saw that there was another, Josh said about Essex youth hockey, since that's where Richmond kids play.
Okay, yep. So they were informed. This is where we're at. And these were the different areas that we kind of, I'll go really quick and just show you. We kept it pretty simple. We didn't want to
Under community rec, actually, I do have a specific question here. Are there any additional offerings at Browns Court or Volunteers Green that are not captured? So you could read those.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I didn't say, did I just say to add lawn games, but I don't know if that's relevant.
No, I think it is. Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
It was hard to capture everything that felt relevant.
Yeah. So anything with this gang that you think should be added?
Was there a volleyball net there?
Oh, there is volleyball. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Good catch.
And the skiing availability, like on the trail at Volunteers Green, is listed on the winter sports part.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yes, that was one of the questions.
Is Browns Court? It's just softball and kind of general rec, right? There's nothing else. Are there picnic tables? A picnic table?
I've never been there.
I don't recall seeing that, but I haven't been there recently.
Okay. Close enough then.
That's close enough. Yeah.
Okay. Great. I think that's it for that, Sherry.
Okay, so now let's go back to
And then I know you're just reviewing the pages. So my next questions are more general. So if you want to keep doing
yeah,
reviews, that's fine.
I just wanted to show real quick, because we did this just real quick. This is what we had. This one, I mean, again, I don't think there was anything to add. Yeah. Okay, so let me just, we'll just go really quick through water recreation. Yeah.
I did add all of those put-ins as Jay requested. And then the
Yes.
parking areas too.
Yeah, so there's a link, like we linked to the senior center information. Jay said that it's helpful to make sure people know where the parking areas are. To be mindful of that. So this was a good spot to, I think we had talked about boat accesses, but this is, parking areas. So I'm sure that's where you put your
Yeah.
boat too. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's kind of a cool thing. It's got all this, I mean, this is interactive, in a way, so you can click and find out, where to park for different things. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was good. Okay, so that was a new addition since I'm in the wrong spot. Since we last met. And then the winter recreation, I think I just added the cross-country skiing and ice skating. And I think I mentioned, what's it called? Gillett Pond.
Oh, for ice skating.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
yep.
And hockey, they play hockey there.
They do
Great.
play hockey there,
Okay.
yep.
I guess that's ice skating. I did cross country ski on that once. It wasn't a good idea at the time. Just saying.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we've kind of covered it. It seems like we got a little bit of input. People didn't have any additional ideas for Browns Court or Volunteers Green.
So is there then anything else additional that we wanted to add to the history? That's not, if you haven't been able to review it yet, that's not really a quick question, but if you do have feedback, you can always let me know later on.
Yeah, so where is the history? I get confused.
It's on the rec committee page. So if you click right below where you are, yep, it'll take you to the rec committee page, and then it's kind of funky. It's down there, all bold or capitalized, but that's it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yes. And I have to say, thank you, Duncan, for getting this from Fran, I think. And then I just, I thought I do like it. The one thing that I think is throwing me off is it's something that should be on the webpage or something with the rec committee work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool. Like what I had said, maybe we talk about, we're trying to raise funds for the playground.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I can link it anywhere. So. Yeah.
I think that communication is, clear communication is helpful. So until we're clear about what our plan is around raising funds for the playground, I wouldn't put it out there, until are we clear? I'm not clear. Maybe other people are
well,
clear.
we're clear that that's a priority to raise funds for a new playground. I mean, we've been doing that, Kathy, for a couple of years. We wrote a grant, we didn't get the grant, then we, looked at some other grants, and then we, talked to ARPA committee. So the idea of raising funds is on our work plan.
Okay, so to put that in there as like an ongoing commitment to raising funds.
Yeah.
Not that we've started a clear plan, because I think that's confusing, a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it is how we pitch it, but I mean, this committee has been focused on that ever since I've been on. I think I don't know how many, is it my third year? I can't remember. So I just thought that would be transparent. All this stuff is true. It was reestablished, set up vision, mission, and goals, identified and lined up with the Richmond Town Plan. I don't know if we need to say Richmond Town Plan. We had an intern, we purchased some lawn games, co-sponsored the picnic tables. Where is the vision, mission, and goals stated? That is, I think it is. So what we did is we actually did put a quasi mission and vision statement here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a simplified
It's at the
one.
bottom of the recreation website.
Is it on the regular?
It's on the rec committee page.
Yeah, boards and meetings, go to recreation committee, it's sitting down below. You just gotta scroll past your names in the meetings. There's the vision, mission, park use form.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There it is. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. And then I think,
So,
yeah,
okay, because under goals, then somewhere under goals, you would have, we're, trying to replace playground, right? That's a goal.
Yeah, that is one thing we haven't listed is like our work plan or our goals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's,
Okay.
I think that's, you could say in the last 3 years, we've, made a commitment to taking a look at and replacing the playground, you could say that. But I do think it would be good to have clear somewhere, this is what the vision, mission, and goals are, and the, kind of strategic plan idea.
yeah.
Where
I
would
mean,
we want that?
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah,
a way to link it? Like when you say developed vision, mission, and goals, can you link it to the vision, mission, and goals, or people have to search for it a little bit?
So you're suggesting a hyperlink back to the main recreation committee webpage that lists the
Yeah.
vision and mission. Yeah.
I just don't know anything about how to do all that and if it's just confusing, for people. But, I think that question of like, to say, like, how do people know that a goal is to replace the playground?
Duncan, can we embed a document, a Word doc in this?
Yeah, you can embed it. It shows up a little funky, but we can certainly embed anything we want, or we can just hyperlink to the, I think what I heard from Kathy saying there is by those missions, we don't really connect the recreation page that we were just talking about with the opportunities to the recreation committee page. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Right.
Essentially. So we could connect those very easily, or tell me what you want me to change. But yeah, you can embed all sorts of stuff in the website.
Just as it is right now, if we were to link back to the rec committee page, the mission, vision, goals are at the very bottom. And so that would not be what popped up right away for people. So I'm wondering how we
Can
get
you go
that
down?
more prominent.
Can you scroll down to that mission, vision, and
Oh, yeah, I
Goals.
gotta go back. Let's see, where is that? Oh, it's not there. Got too many.
Yeah, typically the boards and meeting pages have a general setup. So you'll see kind of like with the recreation committee, you kind of got the general, description of the committee. You've got the members, then you got the upcoming meetings, and you got the vision mission statement. That's pretty standard amongst all the committees. But then we also have the community recreation link, which is a little bit different. How do we want to link those two? Just tell me how you want to do that, and we can do that. Or we could probably recreate that mission vision statement on that recreation page. But once again, it's how much do we want to duplicate information and stuff?
No, I don't think that needs to be duplicated. I guess I'm kind of going back to this idea of like, how does the community know that the recreation committee has been working for the last several years on trying to replace the playground? And there's no goals. It's a vision and mission.
Yeah.
Where,
But I think it is
I mean,
fairly
you had a time frame. You had a whole time frame, right?
right. We've been discussing it for 15 years. It's
Yeah.
it's another
Okay.
thing, but it's not like a formal goal, because it's once again, I think you said it, Kathy, it can get a little sensitive for some people. You're like, what? This is a goal? It's like we're going to do this. We need to do more public
Right.
outreach. We need to do more public forums before we really market it and advertise it as such. Because if someone could read it as a goal, we're doing this.
Yeah.
That could be interpreted the wrong way. That's my feeling on it.
Okay,
But you all
I
might
appreciate
have
that.
different perspective.
I appreciate that. So I guess what I would say, going back to the history, maybe mentioning that, the committee continues to explore and be committed to a safe, playground environment or something like that, that's
Yeah.
accessible.
Something
or
broad. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
broad.
looking at the work plan right now and it seems vague enough that I don't think it would, it would pull any of those emotions. But I liked what you're saying, Kathy, about like having that work plan and priorities published somewhere. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, right now what happens is, I don't know if you guys notice this, but on every agenda, I list the vision, mission statement and goals and what
Yeah.
our current work plan is. So that is public information if people happen to look at it, but we can certainly take that vision, mission, goals and the current work plan and make a separate document that's available. You know, that's what I would recommend, because it, you know, yeah. I mean, that's easy enough, you know, and it just gets updated annually, because our work plan, you know, we usually try to, refine it each year. Like we have on the agenda to kind of look back to see what we've done in the first, 6 months and figure out what we do for the next 6 months. So,
Right. I
yeah.
guess if I was new to, if I moved in or I was wondering, or I just had kids, I'm like, what is going on with that playground? There was, you could, there's a problem with this or that, little thing. And then somebody's trying to find out who takes care of that. And you under recreation, like, is it even on the list for anybody to be, are they even talking about it? So for as far as the history, I do think just having a bullet saying there is a commitment and there has an ongoing commitment from the recreation committee to be working on a safe environment or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to acknowledge you've done all this work. All this work has been done on that. It's a conversation,
Yeah, well, that's why I really like this history, because it really talks about all the different actions that have taken place, and it's very impressive.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
great.
so I just feel we need to add a bullet about what we've been working on around that, because
yeah, I think that could be simple, and then
okay, so,
yeah,
go ahead, Kathy. Yeah.
No, I'm done.
Okay, so we do have to try to move on, because I believe it's 7:56. So there's one other question, right? Or was that the businesses? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So let me go over here. I don't know if you guys can see the email, but I'll read them out loud. So the question is, how would we like to list businesses? Would we like to list it without links? I would say no links. And then the businesses that we're considering are FARS, Farm Sunflower, Cochran's, BYCC, Umiak, Sleepy Hollow, Birds of Vermont Museum, Bolton Valley. I don't know what OCCC is. That's terrible.
Our community cares camp.
Oh, okay. Twin Hills, Allison Aquatics, and New Moon. And so at the select board meeting, I did mention that we were, discussing some this particular issue, and I read them aloud. And they actually, one person said, I'm glad you're thinking about Cochran's. So it's so funny how they like the idea of, and Cochran's was the first one that came to the top of the list. And they were invited to participate in this meeting to give any feedback. So, I guess that's the question is, what do we want to do with the local businesses that help? There might be a fee, but, they're providing an opportunity for residents. What do folks think?
Did the select board have any specific feedback on what information we should put?
No, they were actually, it was a very busy agenda, Kate, so I hardly had 2 minutes, but I wanted to pose it to them since I had their, opportunity, and they didn't seem to have an opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I don't know, why not? I guess why wouldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I was proposing a general disclaimer on this to say, this is not an extensive list. if a business is interested in being listed, they should fill out the contact form or something. And then we can discuss it, you know? So, that was my suggestion.
I mean, we're just trying to give the goal to give people direction about places they can go for recreation.
Yeah,
That's a simple enough thing. I think just listing it is a good idea.
yeah, and I mean, the only other thing is, do we say that, you know, there's a fee associated with it? I feel like the other stuff, well, maybe there's a fee with the other stuff too. You have to pay to be on the soccer league.
A fee
If you just
for
list like trail running and you listed Sleepy Hollow and Cochrane's, I'm thinking about like kind of how we have it set up, like, so I put trail running and then I'd list these
Yep,
different places. There would be no links to them. So
Right.
in order to even find out about them, you'd have to search separately.
right,
So
right.
then we're not saying like fee, no fee, these are the rules, these aren't the rules.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Make it simple. Keep it simple. I like that.
Keep it simple because they will find out what they need to
Yeah.
find out. Go, you know, we don't need to provide all that information for the businesses, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So is the suggestion that we just put the names of the businesses and nothing else, essentially? Just this
Yeah.
list?
Yeah,
I think
and
just categorized by like what activity takes place there
Yeah.
is kind of how I would envision it.
so like winter recreation, perhaps you would add Cochrane's
Yeah,
and
and Bolton,
Bolton, Sleepy Hollow. Yep,
yeah.
yep. And where would you put, I'm just trying to think. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah. Umiak would be under water recreation.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Yep,
So yeah, I'd probably just put like tubing and boating and then just list Umiak.
yep,
So there's like a direction of like what you would be getting there, but
yep.
Who's the person that runs the ski equipment in town and or bikes? I mean, is there?
oh
on the
yeah.
pro-
Oh,
the
yeah.
I
what
mean, that list is not exhaustive, so we would have to really put some effort into adding to it. That was just a start.
No, it's good. I guess I'm wondering, are we going to that extent? Are we talking about where you can go for these activities? Not, you know, not up to us to figure out how you get your equipment and all that.
Oh, that's a
I
good
mean,
point.
that business might come and say, oh, can you list my business as a place to get
Yes,
equipment, you know?
and
And
that's an
then-
option. That's why I was talking about the disclaimer, Kathy, is that they could request that. You know,
But
I write,
is it a like an equipment thing? Because in that case, like Umiak would not qualify, or is it
Right.
an area thing where like it's Cochrane's, it's Sleepy Hollow, it's
These are the
that's a good
areas.
question. Yeah.
Right, yeah, these are the areas.
okay,
Umiak
so
seems different, yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So that's an interesting idea. We're trying to, so it sounds like the criteria could be, it has to be a physical location. And that's our criteria for posting, a physical location where people recreate. And that's,
Where to recreate,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
yeah, I love that because then that kind of gets us out and you know, it just is clear, you know, that, oh yeah, we know you're a great place to lease skis and stuff, but we were sending people to locations where they can do recreational activities. Yeah.
Well, yes
Yeah.
and no. So then you like to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Then you have like Allison's Aquatics. That's a private business. It's a place to recreate. I mean, she does have like open swim and stuff, but you know, it's all paid private. I mean, I guess it's similar to Sleepy, but
It's the same as taking your bike or your skis. You go into
Yeah.
a location, you're just learning how to swim,
Okay.
right? So I feel like it's swimming lessons. Yeah. So, and it's at a pool.
Yeah.
At a location. So I think that fit. Are there any that don't fit that criteria? I mean, just trying to think, is there something we're not thinking about? How about OCCC? Who are they under? Are they a place?
that's a good question.
Yeah. And Twin Hills.
That's the Girl Scout camp. So that one is a little bit questionable.
And I would say VYCC is kind of an organization.
But they
To not-
definitely would count because they do have open trails on their
Okay.
property.
Oh, okay, so you could say open
Yeah.
trails, yada, yada, okay. New Moon, I guess, what's the? I
New
don't know.
Moon Ranch is I would say very similar to Allison's Aquatics in that you were like going there to do horseback riding.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I mean, what's interesting is when you add the businesses, it does make it a little more robust. Like, I mean, a little more like, oh, and these are places I don't know. I didn't even know about New Moon. Or, so it's, and I've lived, geez, I've lived here forever. It's like, where have I been? So,
Well, it is a little bit, because if you go up to Bolton Valley, you can rent skis from them. If there's a local business that is renting skis, we might want to include them as well. So I don't know either way. I think that the disclaimer, this is not an exhaustive list. And if somebody comes to the committee and says, oh my God, what are you thinking? That we can then take that under consideration. But I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
I think what you have is really good.
Yeah.
And, we don't need to get too further
Yeah.
into the weeds. I don't think I think it's.
But that physical location criteria just feels a lot better. So thank you for suggesting that. So
Yeah.
is that okay? Should I use that lens and start adding those things? And then if I assume that there are more, again, that was just a very quick list. So
Yeah.
have more. Okay.
Yeah, but I think again, I think it's great, and I think that, based on the feedback from, Jay had given good feedback and, the select board seen like, oh, this is, they actually went through and navigated on the screen and, I mean, again, I feel like it's doing what we set out to do, that community members and visitors have a sense of, of what's available. That maybe they didn't know about, and if you're a new resident, it's going to help you. And, it's sharing across the 3 towns. So, yep. And I like the addition of the history.
Definitely appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
helpful for everyone who's on the select board, just saying.
Yeah. Because we did talk about, we talked about, we need to get the word out. I mean, I literally read the vision statement that's on the rec page because I like it. And on the one, with the buckets, and, just to remind them that, okay, this is what we're doing. And they didn't say anything. I mean, it's just, I think the more we say it, that we're all here to, enjoy and gain access to what our beautiful 3 towns offer.
Yes, great.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you again for all the extra work you've done between meetings. And I think that, I mean, are we feeling like we're kind of at the end and then it's just updating?
I think it looks really good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're there. I mean, these will be really quick little things. So what I've taken notes on tonight. So
okay. And I'm happy to just I can even make a PDF file if you want, of taking the bottom of our agenda, which has the vision, mission, and the rec work plan. If we want to post it on our page, I mean, I'm happy to do that as an action step. You guys think we should?
Why don't you hold off, Sherry, and I'm just gonna go back in and kind of think about it in the moment of like where to post that. And then if I do need that, yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I can do whatever format makes sense. All right, so Green Up Day debrief, comments for next year.
What happened? I didn't, how did it all go?
Oh, it's fun. Yeah. I won't talk. I'll let others talk, but I loved it. I don't know. Kate, do you want to talk about the sand? Oh my God.
No, it was fun. I mean, I think for our first time trying it, it went reasonably well. We were in over our head with the sand, but we didn't really know how much of a job it would be beforehand. But we all had a good time.
How far along did you get with the sand?
We did one truckload and then decided it was not worth it because there was no way we'd come close to completing it.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and what I loved, Kathy, is we had, I think, 2 or 3 families that showed up with young kids, and they just loved, I think, going around with the green bags, because Kate had got some green bags. And they,
Perfect.
I mean, they totally got into it. And then one of the people that volunteered came with all these delicious muffins, and Kate brought all these snack food. So we had plenty of things to eat. It was just extremely busy. They had like a soccer match, and I don't know what else. So many people there.
Baseball. Yeah,
yeah.
next time we need to try to plan maybe, I don't know if it's best to do it on Green Up Day or try to plan around the sports. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that's very busy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's not really, I didn't picture that at all. Yeah.
yeah. And it was funny because they kind of were watching us, the kids that were playing on the playground. They kind of mingled over, they came over to the table where we had stuff, and they weren't quite sure what was going on. But they could see we were cleaning and, shoveling sand. So yeah, I mean, I think I would definitely do it again. And I know there was some follow-up stuff that, after, like it was an opportunity for us to walk around also and look at like some of the things, like one of the benches was like tipping, like that was tipping way back and needed to be reset. So it's kind of that idea that Duncan had about walking around on a regular basis to see what needs kind of, maintenance.
Yeah.
So
There was a posting, there was a posting at some point in Front Porch Forum, someone new to the area, asking, what is Green Up Day?
Yeah.
So I think the opportunity to be able to say, we're going to be meeting at, Volunteers Green, it's an invite, then people who are newer can come to that and, be there and figure it out from there. Up to the place. So that's good. I like that.
Yeah. And, again, we got a variety of ages. We, had, everyone from, I don't know, 5 years old to, I mean, I think 5 years old up to older, like myself.
It's up to you. Well, how, it would be, I mean, it seems like games are always going on there. So it would be hard to have it be any other time. What other time would that be? I mean, nobody who's going to come. 3 o'clock in the afternoon is nap time for sure.
Yeah.
So, it's like, how do you, I think the 10 to 12 time is a really good idea. And then, it is what it is.
Right.
There can be more education for the people just see what's happening and, figure out when they're going to participate or not. If they're playing soccer, they, just are curious. Like you said, people are looking and curious.
Yeah.
That's good. Keep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, they got donuts over there.
That's what we should bring next time, donuts.
I'm standing out here in right field. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so I mean, I definitely think the question would be, is we did talk about maybe doing a second kind of event of cleanup in the fall. So we should think about, is that something we really want to do, or once a year? I mean, the one thing about the fall is, again, it's the timing, when there's a lot of people around, or,
Well, it's only soccer then, right? Well, there's no baseball in the fall.
Yeah.
I don't remember now if there's baseball. in the
There is
fall.
fall baseball. There is fall baseball.
Oh, there is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So you're saying once a year, twice a year to do a cleanup, or?
Yeah, I think on our work plan, we were considering doing twice a year. And so we can think about that. Does anyone have any other comments to share with Kathy? As far as, the strengths of it, or any challenges other than the sand?
Yeah. Hey, Duncan, is the town going to get rid of the sand?
Well, yeah, that's one of the many things I need to follow up on. I thought I'd get further since the last inspection, but I need to Highway and Pete have been pretty busy, and I've got to talk to them about that. And same thing with the wood chips. You get the
Yeah.
wood chips from one contractor, and then you gotta find another contractor to spread them. So will Pete be able to do that, or will I hire Strom? So I'm hoping to do that in the next few weeks.
Yep,
Cool.
that's
Same.
great.
Well, if you need any help, let us know. Spreading around.
Yeah,
wood
yeah.
chips
No,
under the
it's just
structures
one
or
of those
anything.
things, right? It's just one of those things that, yeah. I thought I was gonna get it done like 2-3 weeks ago. Other stuff came up, and now I'm here. So
No worries. Well,
Yeah,
you also
I think we,
too.
yeah, I think we have all the information. Once again, there's tons of stuff we could talk about with Volunteers Green and the playground, but I think we got to just be patient. We're aware of it, and get it done in July and August, end of summer, and have a good plan.
Yeah, and the wood chips are probably in the most urgent need for the playground.
Yeah,
right now.
I like I said, I wanted those by now too, but it's just one of those things. It's tough to get everyone coordinated on that. So
Right.
it's not as easy as you'd think of like,
Understood.
oh yeah, I want this, go get it. And then it's like, oh no, you got to get 3 people involved. So I'll keep you
Yeah.
posted.
Sounds good.
I wonder about, foregoing a fall cleanup as we head into winter. I'm not sure, like it's sort of you clean stuff outdoors and then it just gets trashed over the winter anyway. Spring is a good cleanup time, but maybe a fall walkthrough to see,
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
just check and see what's going on there. Or like
Yeah.
you said, what might need attention, to regroup in the
Yeah.
fall, take a walkabout.
yep, that makes sense. Okay, so what I'd like to do is, we're in the home stretch here and we're talking about our work plan, what's our greatest successes and our priorities for the next 6 months. So since we're talking about the playground and Volunteers Green, I did want to, I was just trying to find the document that the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns sent about the inspection, and I can't find it. It's terrible. So I forwarded that.
It's on the agenda. Yeah, it's on the agenda.
Yeah, is the link there? No, I don't know. I thought I sent an attachment.
No, I think it's if you scroll down to the bottom of the recreation agenda, you'll see the related files. There's the inspection
Oh.
report and then the letter.
Oh, okay,
Your
yeah, all
original
right.
email that you sent out has it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so hang on. I was just trying to get my bearings. So let's see, where is this? So here we go. I understand what you're saying. Okay. So I did just want to, I think for planning for Volunteers Green for the next 6 months, I mean, I think the accomplishments that we've done, if we look at the, we set out to identify repairs and maintenance and improvement priorities for various funding, collect input from the community on improvements to the playground, recruit volunteers for spring cleanup and or summer months. Those were the 3 kind of key tasks. And I actually feel that we made progress in all areas by getting the inspection done. We've met with the ARPA committee. We sent a memo about what we're proposing for funding. We've looked at the capital plan, reserve funds as an option, conservation funds. We definitely, we had, probably 7 volunteers come for the cleanup plus ourselves. So it was a total of like 11 or 12 people, I think. So I feel like we've done quite a bit, but we haven't actually implemented repairs and maintenance or improvements to Volunteers Green, specifically the playground and stuff. So that's why I thought it would be interesting to maybe look at. I'm just trying to find that link. Hang on, the agenda. There we go. Okay. And then at the bottom, I was just going to open up that document. Should I just do the cover page, Duncan? Is there enough information there, or should I go into the
The
actual
cover page doesn't have anything, Sherry.
Oh, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I opened it. I'm like, why is this a separate page?
Oh, I don't know
Well,
why. Yeah.
It at least gives us the name of the person, which is good.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. I got it. All right. It's just taking me a second. Let me share my screen. Let's take a look at this little doohickey. Because I have to say, I did not read it thoroughly. So I just wanted to see if it gave us any kind of targets here for the next 6 months. So hang on, there we go. Okay, can you all see that? This is it? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, there it is. Mhm.
Okay, there it is. Oh, I like how he has like the priority level, medium or urgent. Okay,
Oh, that's helpful.
that's very helpful. This is a low priority. This has to do with the clearance between the underside of
That's the tire swing.
the tire swing. Yeah.
It's
This
too
is
low
that-
technically.
Yeah, this is kind of, I like that. There's another low, there's a medium. The signage is medium, okay, which we talked about possibly purchasing some signs. This had no priority, so that's interesting. The plastic coating on the spring. See, I think that's a high priority. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm surprised there's no priority there. I don't
maybe
like
they
that.
forgot.
Yeah.
Could have been oversight.
Yeah, and then they talked about, there was significant damage to the recreation equipment or play equipment.
But then the next sentence says it was not significant, so that was a little
Yeah,
confusing.
what does that mean? Yeah, but again, I don't like these sharp edges. I hate those actually. And then there
Yeah.
was the slip hazard thing. So I think what this is telling us, this report's really good about maybe when we meet in August, because we're not meeting in July, we can, really kind of think about, is there, something based on priority? And again, the select board has this, that they should focus on with the $3,000 maintenance and repair
Yeah,
money.
good idea.
And so again, we can come up with a recommendation. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good
And-
idea.
Yeah, and I do like, Duncan, that you're already on it about the mulch, This is nice because it's short and sweet. Wow. I like it. It's just 4 pages. Okay, it's got like 2 things on each page, but I like this report.
Yeah, that's a good way to read it. Easy.
Yeah, yeah, so I think that is a task, because, we do have those maintenance budget dollars that we don't have authority over, but we can certainly make recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something worth looking at. And we already did say, we were gonna kind of, have a discussion about, putting in a request for reserve funds for the capital plan, and that's on the, August agenda. So
Mhm.
is there anything else that, you would say that for Volunteers Green, like something we should add for the next 6 months that we haven't thought about? I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So I want to say kudos to all of you. I feel like we, followed what we said we were going to do. And,
Yeah, good job.
yeah, and so I think we could do a little bit more in the next 6 months, but I don't know if anyone has an idea that wants to percolate it now or just sit on it and think about it.
I'm curious about the wood chips, Duncan. Do those have to be spread by a contractor, or would that be like a good volunteer day project?
You can do a volunteer day project. Once again, it's all in the coordination. So
Yeah.
I've done that once in my life, and
Was it hard?
my faint memory is don't ever do that again as a volunteer.
Oh,
That's just
okay.
my faint you are different volunteers than me. So I would be willing to consider that. But for me, I'm Volunteers Green is in the shape it's in because it's the Volunteers Green. We need to get the Contractors Green name.
So, yeah,
In
I
my
agree.
personal humble opinion of like, yeah. And same thing with like all the little fixes we have, all those little fixes, there's a million other things that are, it's a worn down playground. And so I think that's another discussion to look at for future capital investment versus how much do you spend money on muffler and brakes on an old car.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I think if there's a way to, I think that it's nice to have work groups, but I do think that it's the coordination of that and making sure that the materials there when you have set that up and advertised for it, that I could see that would be a nightmare.
And another reason why I was hesitant, there was so much paving and stuff going on in the volunteers green the last few weeks. I was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even gonna touch that subject of like, yeah, we're not quite ready for that. Who knows how long it's gonna take? Luckily, the sidewalks and the parking lot looks great. I'm psyched about that, but I didn't know that was gonna play out that way. So it's nice to be on this side.
Yeah.
And that might just be something to keep in our back pocket, Sherry, if it does, maybe it's like we can help with half of it or a quarter of it or something. It doesn't necessarily be the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then obviously if it's just easier to have Pete and his crew do it, if they're open to that, then yeah. Great. But that's one thing I can think of that might come up.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, great. So I'm just going to move us along quickly. We can always, again, come back. This is kind of a quick lightning round. So the next one is the funding grant writing. So one of our tasks was to identify which of the 3 funding sources, Conservation Commission Reserve Funds or ARPA, to use for the improvements to the volunteers green. And I think what's happened is we've researched capital plan and looked at the Conservation Commission application, but we have been focused on ARPA primarily. For the second task, we said we could develop a work plan about our funding or raising funds and grant writing that lists actions to request funding from the 3 sources. So I think what naturally happened is ARPA committee was meeting, they asked us to weigh in, and we naturally kind of focused on, doing the memo, taking the old grant work and making a proposal that aligned with what we had written in the grant for the playground enhancements. So we haven't really, I think, again, we have this planned is in August, we were going to talk about the capital plan because we thought we should get ready to make a request because they start having their meetings in October. So that would give us August and September to kind of wrap our minds around, what that request might look like. And hopefully we have a sense of where the ARPA stuff is. So I feel like we haven't really come up with the work plan, but it seems like the wheels are spinning and we're kind of moving in that direction. But I guess my question is, does anyone know of any grants available? And is that something we would want to pursue in the next 6 months? Because grant cycles are somewhat predictable. Like I think we wrote a grant, I thought, in the fall, but maybe that was wrong. The first time round that got rejected when we asked money for the playground. I thought that was a fall thing, but maybe maybe that's
the VOREP grant.
Yeah, was that in the fall?
It was
Yeah,
a
this fall.
one-time thing.
It
It
was
wasn't
a
like a
one-time.
ongoing. Yeah.
Okay. It was
Sherry,
only-
are you talking about funding for a new playground? Not
Yeah.
okay, so not for the little repairs we were just talking about.
No, it's just whether or
Okay.
not we even want to pursue grant writing. It gives me a horrible headache just thinking about it, but
Yeah.
but
Well-
I just want to throw it out there.
Well, let's see. So you've already written a grant.
Yes,
So
and we
you
got rejected.
Yes, but you have the bones of the grant for the
We
playground.
do.
So
Yeah.
it's maybe not as much work as originally, right?
Yeah, I didn't even help out with it, and I already have a headache.
So if ARPA doesn't come through, where is the money coming from? Like a capital campaign or,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think again, we were kind of putting our cards or our eggs in the basket of we can make a request for the capital plan reserve funds, but I'm always open to other fundraising. If people think that would be something to think about or pursue. So let's just put it on the parking lot.
parking lot.
No parking lot for now. And again, we can revisit this and just say, did anyone come up with any other things they want to work on? Outreach and education. Hey, website update, done. Yay, congrats.
Very good.
Training on how to add to the web and update as needed. So I think I was the one that volunteered and I need training. So I will commit to that. If anyone else feels like it to help with any updates, that's my dog barking because I was, hey, you don't need to bark. Okay. I guess, Duncan, are you the trainer? Who's my trainer? Who trains me in how to update the website if need be?
Yeah, I can train you, or you can
Okay.
send me stuff and I can do it.
Okay. So that was on the list. I haven't done anything with that. Comments are collected on website and linked to other towns. Comments are collected on website and linked to other towns. May also put a code up on Volunteer Green. I don't know why we put that down.
I think that's the comment collector, like the idea of putting that comment collector on other towns' websites and having a QR code at Volunteers Green to link to the comment form.
Oh, we did not do that, did we? We haven't done that, right?
Well, the form exists, but the
Yeah,
other
but we
pieces
didn't
don't.
we didn't do the linking or the QR code. I like the idea, but we haven't done it. So let's think about that one a little more. How about outreach and education? We did add something. We're going to promote the snowshoes. So we're going to start that in December, maybe November even. So we said that was a promotion. The only other thing I'm wondering, okay, so this is where I think this is outreach, education, and engagement. What do you guys think about the idea that Jesse proposed where we could have some presentations by those individuals from South Burlington, she mentioned, and Bristol, and
Yeah.
yeah, what do you guys think about that? We could invite the community. I mean, it's a public meeting, but they would help us with the process, so I don't know. They would give us idea. I mean, the fact that she had a person that was able to put the natural playscapes playground in for $100,000 was fascinating to me.
Well, that does not speak to what was actually put in.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well,
I don't know,
Yeah.
but like that
Yeah.
doesn't say anything about what was actually put in.
okay.
Just for like, we should keep that in mind. I have no idea what it looks like, so I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
negative about it, but I don't know what that entailed. And
Okay.
Copen was one of the ones that we had identified. So that was on our radar. I know about that
Okay.
brand. I have connections at that brand.
Okay,
So
Okay.
that's definitely on our radar in terms of producers.
yeah.
I think
'cause-
you're saying, you're asking a question about opening it up and encouraging public to come to get some information, to gather
Yes.
information.
Yes.
And so that seems like a good idea. The question for me is like, when do you do that? You don't have the money earmarked.
Right.
We don't know how much money we're going to need or want
Right.
based on, we don't really have the information about what we need or want, and public input about that. What comes first is my question.
That is the question. We've gone back and forth on this. And so we kind of said, let's get the money first. And then, but then do we engage them in, this is what it could look like. Yeah.
I have heard, it sounds like there are people that are interested in being engaged
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
in conversation in a bigger way. And so as we're gathering information, I mean, it would be good to invite people, invite the people to make the presentations about what's their equipment look like, and
Yep.
something, invite the public to that, because we're now gathering information about what's out there, what things cost, what do they look
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and public can have input into that conversation.
Yeah. They can
Right.
ask questions. Yeah.
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 I wonder if it might be more helpful to have a couple of questions, like kind of what Kathy just said, of what does it look like? How much did it cost? Like, what did your process look like? asking those to these presenters ahead of time, and then having them send those things to us and start there. So we have some like physical documents that we can then share with
Review.
people.
Review
And then
that.
when we're in a place where we need some more like open-ended questions answered, and we're trying to do that more public engagement, then bring them in and really talk about, like, because somebody could theoretically say, answer all those questions, and then we're like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense for what we're trying to do, if when we do have a better answer about what we're able to do.
Right.
Or similarly, it could be like, that's exactly what we want to do, like, we really want to focus on having you help us. But we would know that better without making them come and asking just arbitrary questions, and then like potentially losing that information and having to do it again down the road.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it'd be helpful, like as a committee, to talk to some of these people briefly first. I agree, but good to come up with questions beforehand.
I'm always of the mind that you don't bring in groups of people for input unless you know what the questions you're asking are.
Yeah.
And we don't really know yet. Like, hopefully we're going to be asking, like, we have this money, what do you want to see? And here,
Yeah.
and guiding that a little bit, but we can't say that. And so if we're saying like, what do you want to see? That's a huge question. And
I do think the one presentation and discussion I would like to have is, what was your engagement process?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I know we've all done engagement, and you probably have done more than we have about community engagement, about recreation. But I picked up on that, and I said, that would be an information for all of us to think about. Maybe there is some slick idea they had about engagement. So I think that's one question, that if someone like this person, which I forgot her name, Holly, if Holly was willing to spend 15 minutes on the agenda to just talk about the process, it's just information for us. And then we certainly ask the contact she gave us is, come up with those questions and say, can you give us something in writing that we can look at about, I forgot what the questions were, but that would just inform us a little bit.
I like that. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Mhm.
Yeah, because I like the engagement thing. Engagement is always, sometimes you hit it, and then other times it's like, God, you just struck out at the plate, and so, okay, great. And then the last one is recruitment of volunteers and board members. So the senior center newsletter, I believe we have not done that. We were gonna coordinate with Jack and others about getting information out. I'm not sure we actually ever did that in the last 6 months. We did recruit for Spring Community Cleanup Day, and I have the names of the individuals. And we did some front porch forum and social media. And again, it was more focused on Volunteers Green, Green Up Day, and I thought we did something else, but maybe not. So I think it's an interesting idea, looking 6 months forward, to think about, okay, so, we have an opportunity to get volunteers and or board members. So maybe really honing in on, when do we do it? What are we gonna say? And, who's gonna send out, maybe again, we kind of missed our opportunity because of course they just nominated people for the next year. Is it June that they start, Duncan, or July? I can't remember. Are our terms July or June?
It's June, I think.
Yeah, it's June. Yeah, it's the fiscal.
Yeah, so I think it's something that, I think I even said to one of the people that showed up at the Green Up Day, I said, hey, we're always looking for volunteers for the committee.
They could be community
Likewise,
advisors, and then they're not members.
They can join anytime.
Anytime,
If someone wants to join, you don't need to wait till June. You put in your application, we throw it to the select board, boom, you're in.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's very important, because I think I'm on it's a 2-year term, so I think we just all started our second year, or I did. our final year or 2 years. And, so I think it's always good. Like, I think to myself, okay, well, maybe I need to think about in Huntington, who can I recruit to take over for what I'm doing? So I think that it's never early enough. So I think that this is kind of an ongoing thing, and we just have to get the messaging correct and use our connections. Is there anything else that you would like to add to recruitment and volunteers and board members? And again, we don't have to come, it's 8:38, so I'm gonna stop there. I am so sorry we went over time. But it was a great conversation as usual. But again, feel free to email if you come up with anything. We got a lot of good work done, and Mark did send his, apologies. So I think with that, we've got the agenda for August. Remember, nothing's going on in July. I think we came up with some good items already. I would make a motion to adjourn if I could have a second. And I, again, thank you all for all the great work in the last 6 months. Second
I
is Ken.
second.
Okay, we are done. And thank you so much, Duncan. I hope it sounds like you're feeling better. And Kate, for opening up the space.